You said you act as if God exists. Do you also act as if the devil exists? Man, I think I probably act even more as if the devil exists, because it's a lot, in some sense, it's a lot more easy for me, and I think it is for most people. It's easier for me to believe in the reality of malevolence and evil and to be terrified about that getting a grip on me than it is to be optimistic and naive about the possibility of transcendent good. It's just that it's not that I am skeptical about the reality of transcendent good. I mean, fundamentally, I believe that good is more powerful than evil. I do believe that. But there's something palpable about evil that's also undeniable. It's like, well, you can debate about whether or not heaven exists, and you can even be skeptical, but you can't debate about whether the Gulag Archipelago existed, and you can't debate about Auschwitz, and you can't debate about the fact that people's proclivity towards blindness and malevolence produced those horrors, and the horrors that people often encounter in their day-to-day world and in their relationships. So it's very easy for someone like me to be a believer in evil and to try to turn away from that. And so, but through deep contemplation, I've come to the conclusion that the ability of human beings to turn away from evil and to pursue good is more powerful than malevolence itself. But that fills me with hope and awe, I guess is the right word, when I can bring it to mind and think that we can in fact defeat malevolence. But sort of on a moment-to-moment basis, the malevolence is so palpable and so real that it's a more powerful motivator for avoidance. I don't mean avoidance of responsibility. I mean avoidance of walking down that path. And I think that's probably in keeping with the well-known psychological doctrine that people are more loss averse than they are gain sensitive. So a loss of X, it upsets you more to lose $5 than it does make you happy to gain $5. That's a well-known psychological fact. And it's because we're more sensitive to punishment and negative emotion. And that's because, well, you can die in agony, but you can only be so happy. So, yes, I certainly act as if the devil exists, I would say. And I think I probably believed in the devil, so to speak, speaking metaphorically, before I believed in God, speaking metaphorically. I became convinced of the reality of evil. And not only convinced of the reality of evil, but also convinced that everyone was destined to play their part in that, including me, and that it would be better if I played the least part in that as possible. And that sort of brings us back to this book. As Solzhenitsyn said, the line that divides good from evil runs down the heart of every individual. Right? It's an internal thing, it's not between states, it's not between groups, it's between elements of our psyche. And our individual responsibility is to work to ameliorate suffering and to constrain malevolence and to start with ourselves.